Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna...
Hey guys, and welcome to this wonderful craziness that is my channel. Your girl Brit here. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, before we hop in to today's video, let me just remind you to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get notifications for when I do upload. Also, follow me on social media. It'll be fun to like stalk me. I mean, I'm just so stalkable. No, really, don't stalk me. I don't like it. Anyway, for today's video, I'll be talking about how to increase the conflict in your story. I know. So, here's the thing. Conflict is what drives your story. If you don't have it, why are you writing? So, the first thing that you must do to cause this conflict is make sure that your character has two things that they want to do and they have to sacrifice one. Because honestly, that's one surefire way for them to like have to make a really hard decision. So think of Sophie's Choice, basically. It sucks, but it's true. And at the end of the day, we all make sacrifices. So make your character make some. Another thing is that you should keep in mind Murphy's Law. I was about to say Sophie's Law. Murphy's Law is basically anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Basically, keep that in mind, and it also helps to drive your story. So, for some of my older works, I used to write about like horrible parent relationships and parent-child relationships. And I had one where where her parents, they were negative Nancy's, and anything that happened. So basically I waited till she was feeling secure for things to go wrong. And a lot of us probably feel like we can't be happy because something will go wrong. And so I use that as a way of causing more conflict and tension. Another thing you can do is using their flaws to be a barrier to reach their goal. So for this, use yourself as an example or people you know. Who is someone that you're like, okay, you would be so successful if you did this, but instead you're lazing around doing nothing. That is one way to look at it. So when me, I can personally say that it took a while for me to really start getting on my writing. So I've always written, but I never seriously sat down until high school to where I would sit there and actually put my all into a story. And I knew I was holding myself back. And even now, sometimes I feel like I am, because I can have a day where I'm not doing anything and I won't write. Honestly, most of the time I end up spending my day reading if that happens. So yeah. Sorry, my cat. Another thing in which you can do is put drawbacks and limitations on magical or scientific objects. So if we all remember Doctor Who, for those of us who watched it, when we met the wonderful Captain Jack, he had a what was it called? A sonic blaster? Yeah, he had a sonic blaster, and it came with batteries, and the batteries ran out when they needed it. So do that. You can make it the direct cause of the conflict as well. So have stuff like that around. Also, making them seem like their decision was beneficial to what they're doing even though it wasn't. Use that to drive more conflict into your story, because let's say you do need a device or whatever at the last minute and its batteries are drained, or when you were fighting it got hit and now it's no longer working. You're stuck in a predicament that you weren't in before, or a worse predicament. Another thing is to have your characters be wrong every so often. So having a character that's right all the time is boring and exhausting. Like, one, if you don't like research, you're constantly having to research to make sure that what they're saying is fact for that world or not. So if you're doing a world of magic, look into and create how those things will affect and how well your character knows their magic. If it's science, you have to be scientifically sound for the most part, and if you're not, have reasons for it. But do not make your characters right all the time. A character who is always right is a character who is boring, and no one likes a know-it-all. What you can do, though, is make it where they're know-it-all, but they are misdirected, misguided, and don't know their answers, and that could be a character flaw or a drawback for them. So it just depends on how you want to play it. Finally, when they are in a predicament in which they have to choose between two different things, make sure there's a positive and a negative to it. So make it where you have to choose saving the one to saving the many type of deal. If you do that, you have both positive and negative. If you save the one, I mean, you lose the world, but this one person is saved, especially if you have it where it's a loved one. If you save the world but lose the one, you have that person's family angry at you. If it is a loved one, you feel like crap, and the world is very grateful for what you've done. You just have to make sure that you know what you're doing, and you do this in a way where the conflict will rise up. Because if you don't have conflict, again, it's not gonna help your story. So, yeah. That's everything for today. So let me know what you thought, and I look forward to hearing from you. Laters!